Representative Kim Fawcett, and you're joining me for an episode of Kids Who Care. Kids Who Care is a current issues talk show for the youth of our community here in Fairfield and Westport. Our purpose is to engage our young people in conversations about current issues that are impacting their communities, their state, our country, really even the world. And today I have three spectacular young students at Fairfield Ward High School who have been working for almost 2 years on a really special project for Africa. And I have with me Gary Oster, who's a 10th grader at Ward, Daniel Schur, who's also a 10th grader, and his brother Adam Schur, who's actually leaving us this year and graduating next week. And these three young men are the founders of H2Africa, a club at Fairfield Ward High School that has been working for over a year. What, a year and a half, guys? Over a year and a half fundraising for a really special project for South Africa. And so I can't wait for them to share the story with you today. And we'll start with Gary because Gary was the one who originally visited Africa and had the first-hand experience. So tell me a little bit, Gary, about how it is you even had the opportunity to go to Africa.
Well, in the summer of 2006, my mom was looking through Family Circle magazine and there was an ad saying, do you want to go to South Africa? Just apply and send it to National Geographic Kids. You have to write a 300-word essay about what you like to explore. And I wrote a little essay about what I like to explore, which was my backyard. And then 5,000 kids entered this contest. They chose 15. I was one of the lucky 15.
Wow. Were you just so thrilled when the day you found out?
I was actually at basketball practice, and when I came home, I get a sign on the door saying, "Congratulations, Gary, guess who's going to South Africa."
Wow.
I almost fainted.
And what grade were you in then?
I was in 7th grade.
7th grade. Okay, so a 7th grader is going to South Africa for about 2 weeks?
We can have 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay. And so now tell me about your trip, because it was pretty impactful on your life and resulted in a pretty big project at Ward High School.
Yeah, it was about 10 days, and what we did there, we went to the oceans, we went on safari, and we also got to meet the people. When I was down in the ocean area, we swam with the great white shark.
Was it a big shark?
It was about 10 feet. My mom was scared to death because you're allowed to bring one parent with you, so I chose my mom.
Okay.
So when she saw me in the water, she was kind of scared.
Did she go in with you?
Oh no. She's too scared.
Were you in a cage? I'm sorry, I just have to ask.
Oh, there was a cage.
Okay.
I wanted to free swim, but I wasn't allowed to.
Okay, good. So after you spent time with the sharks,
we went to a certain island and we built shelters for penguins.
Okay.
And then we got to meet the locals there. Mm-hmm. That's when it's words can't really describe like how I felt. I never knew people lived like that. Growing up in Fairfield, Connecticut, your whole life, you think people live like this. When I went to that village, I saw people living in houses like the size of small garden sheds. 10 people were living in these things. There was nothing but a bed and a couch. If you were rich, you had a grill. And for every 100 houses, there was one bathroom. And these people would have to walk up to 5 miles a day just getting water. And their schools were no better. There was nothing in the schools.
Right. I know, and I shared with you earlier that I was selected to go on a trip, and I traveled to Nepal and northern India, and I saw some of the same circumstances for the first time in my life, and I'm 40, but I had the same words could not express how it's just amazing when we live in such a beautiful place to go somewhere that has so very, very few modern amenities. But so you learned about the village and the people, and what are some of the things you learned about their living conditions?
Their living conditions, they were not that great, but the people in general, they were, I can't really say the happiest people, but they were some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, because they take every day, each day, day by day, and living as if they're not going to live tomorrow. So they try to be as happy as they can, and it just felt like even though I was in such a sad place, these people made it happy for me.
Yeah, yeah, I have that. I had those feelings as well. So the water issue stuck with you because they didn't have access to clean water. Is that?
Well, it was also water, and it was also the school supplies. Like when I won the trip, National Geographic also wanted to purchase a computer with internet for one of the schools we were visiting, which cost about $4,500, and every kid was supposed to raise a certain amount. And not that many people raised a lot, or any at all. I was one of the few people that actually raised $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so were you all able to buy the computer for them?
Everybody bought the computer, yeah.
That's nice, that's nice. So you come home, and you just happen to be friends with Daniel, sure, right? And you talked a lot about your trip. And first tell me so what you ended up building, we should say, is a water pump for a village because you noticed that they didn't have access to clean water. But tell me a little bit about how in the world did you decide on a water pump?
When I was visiting one of the schools, I saw all these people with these 5-gallon water jugs on their heads, walking 2-3 miles a day with no shoes, in the bearing heat. And I knew I had to help them, and I heard about something called a play pump when I was on the trip.
Okay, and explain what a play pump is.
What they told me there, it was pretty much like a carousel or a merry-go-round where kids play on it, which harnesses energy, which can get clean spring water up to a 660-gallon tank, providing clean drinking water for 2,500 people. Which that also saves the hassle for many kids, because a lot of these kids have, especially the girls, they have to carry the water 5 miles a day, which means they're losing school time.
Right.
So even though we're also giving them a play pump, we're also helping them with their education.
And giving them clean water.
And giving them clean water as well.
So you came home and you had learned about the play pump, and you told me you did some research after you got home just to find out more about how to purchase one and what they cost?
I want to know just about everything about it, what it cost. And I saw a video about it, and one of the nature guides was a guy named Boyd Matson. He went on a trip with us. He also has a TV show. I never knew how famous he was until I saw him on this water pump on the Play Pump's website describing what a play pump is, and then I actually saw him drink some of the water from a play pump.
Oh wow!
So
okay,
it must be clean.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you just started talking to Daniel about it. This is where Daniel and his brother start to get involved.
Yeah. I for the first couple of months, I didn't really tell anybody about it. He was actually the first person I told everything. And then a couple of weeks later, we were playing Call of Duty at his house.
Okay, what's Call of Duty?
I
should ask you that before when you said that. It's a game, right?
It's a game. It's a game.
Okay.
And he paused the game. He started talking about, why don't we start a club that's help raise awareness, about what you did and what we wanted, and why we want to help. And then I told him about the play pump idea. He thought it was a good idea, and now I guess we raised the pump.
Yeah, you did. And so Daniel,